Hello, welcome to Trash Talk with Bob Castles, and I'm Bob Castles. It's Tuesday. I'm doing this late again because I can't get my shit together. Anyways, one thing I wanted to clear up from my last one, I don't even know if anybody saw it, but I'm going to fix my mistakes anyways. I was talking about Andrea Lee and against Shevchenko, and I had said that it looked like she had that triangle on backwards. After further review, and I was looking at it and saw some other triangles since and whatnot, some this weekend I think even, and I was like, I think I had that wrong, because I think part of it, I don't know if like Andrea Lee has really long legs or Shevchenko's just really skinny, which she is, and it was just loose and it just looked like it wasn't cinched up right, and you could say, oh, she didn't get the arm across or what have you, but I don't think that matters because it shouldn't matter anyways in terms of being tight. I think it just didn't fit well, and that's why she was able to last that long. So I was wrong. I had that wrong. Whatever. So I just wanted to clear that up and realize. And I was kind of wondering, the thing is, it's like the triangle's on the opposite side that I'm not gonna say normally is, but more often you see it on the other side. I think in most fights. I just think that's opportunity, and maybe left-handed, right-handedness, or whatever, right-footedness, or whatever you want to call it. I guess it kind of threw me off, and the way it looked so loose, it was like, that looked like it's on backwards almost. And I've seen people do put them on backwards, and it does get all weird. So, but I was wrong. It was on right, and she just couldn't cinch it up tight enough, I guess, for whatever reasons. I'm going to assume anatomy reasons. So, anyways, just want to clear that up. So moving on to the fights, whatever, it was Bellator, and so I'll touch on Bellator a little bit. It wasn't, super exciting really. I'm just gonna go, obviously, it's pretty hard to forget Valerie Laredo, so I'll go there. It kind of showed. She's got great stand-up and everything. She's super young, give her a break for Christ's sake, but. She obviously showed she doesn't have much of a ground game. So she obviously has something to work on. If she gets it, cool. Figures it out or whatever. She's got lots of time, sort of. She kind of her stardom fucks with things quite a bit. But she's always I'm sure she can make money other ways if she needs to. And I don't mean that in a dirty way. Partially dirty, but not whatever. She's got some stand-up talent, and maybe she'll get better on the ground and what have you, or even preventing takedowns or get-ups, what have you. And as for Hannah Guy, it's kind of the opposite actually. She probably comes from a jiu-jitsu, kind of like, I'm gonna go take jiu-jitsu, and gets into the fight game. And I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just making that up. It's the way it kind of almost seems that way. Her striking is almost non-existent. So. Grappling, if it gets to the ground, a grappler's always going to win. If you got somebody who can, and I'm sure Hannah Guy's not even that great a grappler. She's good enough, and she's got a decent record. So kudos to her. She did a good job. Maybe she'll become something. Who knows? Whatever. Moving on to, honestly, I don't remember much. I watch them all. They kind of are a bit of a blur. And I guess I've been busy this weekend, so I didn't really get into it too deep. But I watched Cyborg and Leslie Smith for whatever that was worth. Kind of went more or less the way I thought it would, other than maybe finishing it sooner. But a lot of people were saying, "Oh, she's slowed down. Oh, this. Oh, she's not. She's only 35 for fuck's sakes. She's not that old, and maybe you could argue she's got some miles on her or whatever. I don't know what that. She's been running through people forever, so I don't know what the miles are. I think to me, honestly, it looked like she was playing with her food. She was just maybe making a show of it, just because it was the main event and what have you. I don't know that. That's the way it looked to me. She looked like she was playing with her food. It looked like she could have crushed her, and realistically, Leslie Smith's not that great a fighter. She's tough as nails, ridiculously tough. Probably too tough for her own good. And kudos for her efforts for unionizing fighters. But in terms of fighting, not that good. and maybe that's harsh. I mean, it's funny when they show her notables. It's like those aren't really notable. So I'm like, Raquel Pennington was the only notable win, and I don't. That's borderline notable to me. I mean, Raquel Pennington's also tough, and she's gotten better, but she's gotten better at the tail end of her career, and I don't even know if she's even. I mean, I don't even know if she's still fighting or not. She's certainly not busy about it. So whatever, that's a marginal win at best. And I think it came from a time when Raquel Pennington wasn't that good. So whatever. So whatever. We're moving on from Bellator. It wasn't a great card. It was okay. Whatever. Don't care. And as for that, UFC's card wasn't that. It had some good moments, but it wasn't that great either. So let's start with Alves versus Ismagulov, which was actually a really great fight. It was fun. If you wrote down these guys' resumes, like you would be like, this is how it probably should go. Alves was crazy athletic and powerful, but he got out techniqued all the way through, really, like in all facets. I mean, he was getting the best of it at the end on the feet later on, and Ismagulov went on as someone that tough is going to do. And after locking away 2 rounds, so it was whatever. That was what you'd expect. And then David Dvorak. There's not a lot to say. I mean, it was so quick that it was like I don't know much about the guy. Apparently, he's undefeated. I think he's undefeated, and he's running through people. But he's running through Ronderos. Hondero. I don't even know if it's Honderos. I don't even know what it is for where he's from. I've never heard of him before, and probably never hear from him again after that beating. So it's too soon to say, but he looks really good. He looks impressive, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. This one was an interesting one. This Josh Kulabau versus, not even going to try and say his name. That was actually a pretty interesting fight. He had a really solid wrestler against a guy with really solid stand-up, and I mean, he ended up getting the best of him. Kulabau was, he was pretty slick on the feet. I gotta say, I gotta give it to him. I mean, it was, it looked might not go his way at first, but he hung in there, and he pieced him up pretty good. And Nurdan, I don't even want to just let's call it Shaylan, go by his first name, which isn't much better. He's got a lot of work to do on his feet. I mean, he's a great athlete, obviously, great wrestler too, but you need more than that. And then we're moving on to Bruno Silva and Victor Rodriguez. Not much you can say about that. It didn't last long enough for it to be. I mean, these are kind of fun to watch, but they're like boom, 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 and it's like, man, well, I don't know anything. I didn't learn a lot about the guy. He's incredibly athletic. He's got power. Awesome. Let's see more. So that was a fun fight, but it was over before it started, basically. And then we had Court McGee against Claudio Silva, which was interesting. Claudio Silva was supposed to be this great grappler. He didn't have much of a gas tank, I gotta say. Like, he got tired out in what was a lot of grappling. Like, I know it was up and down and whatnot, and Court McGee's a super tough veteran. And I was kind of interested. I was hoping like that we kind of get to like where we could get a choke on him, because Court McGee's like notoriously unable to like choke him out. There's something weird about his anatomy where you just can't choke that guy out. So I was kind of looking forward to that, but it never happened. And we had Ben submitting Chris Barnett. It was kind of ridiculous. I mean, good on Ben, but this Chris Barnett guy is like, come on, fuck. Like, you're 5'2" and 300 pounds. Like, go on a diet. You can't fight. Like, I can't. I'm a little surprised the UFC even wants him, but I mean, yeah, you're gonna maybe knock some people out, but you're not an athlete. Like, I mean, that's a bit much to say, depending on what kind of athlete you are, but you can't do that. You can't be 5'8" or 5'9", they say. And this is, so, yeah, whatever. You're going to run into a Ben Rothwell, and that's what's going to happen. End of story. Then we had the much anticipated Edmund Shabazian and Jack Hermanson. I was looking forward to this fight last week. I think it was supposed to be last weekend, and it didn't happen. Kind of, I'm not going to say went as expected. It was kind of hard to say what way it was going to go, but Edmund apparently has no ground game, or not much of one. And it's shown twice in a row now, so he's got to work on that. His stand-up's great. I hate to say it, but you've got to get away from Edmund. Like, his coach is like, come on. This guy, I mean, maybe he's a decent boxing coach, but he's got nothing else. We saw that with Ronda, and it's like, saw it with Travis Brown too, I hate to tell you. I just don't think this guy is, I mean, I think he helps people with their boxing, but beyond that, that's the end of it, so he's got to do better than that. I would suggest moving on, find a new coach. And no shitting on Edmund, I mean, yeah, he's his protege or whatever, but he can't help you with grappling, he's no good to you. So, that's my opinion. Ricardo Ramos against Bill Algeo. Bill Algeo is a tough dude. It's a good win for Ramos, I gotta say. But I mean, I don't really remember a ton of the fight. I think I might have zoned out a bit on that one. I was kind of looking forward to it first, but it didn't really go where I wanted to go. So yeah, whatever. Felicia Spencer against Norma Dumont. Don't know Dumont. Never heard of her really. I don't know about the split decision. It was kind of a whatever. Neither one are particularly skilled. Felicia's tough, but she's not awesome in any real way. I mean, and I heard she didn't like people saying, "Oh, I don't want to be described as just tough." Well, then get better, because really right now you're just tough. You're not. And I'm Canadian, so I'm like, I want you to do better, but you're not that. You gotta get better. I'm not, how old is she? Let's look at this. Does it even say? No, it doesn't say. I have to go and figure all that shit out. So who cares? Whatever. Yeah, you gotta get better. She got basically, I think, I'm not schooled, but it was whatever fight. Then we go to fight of the night, or that's my heard fight of the night, which I think should be Justin Taffa, Jared Van Dera. That was fun. I mean, it's surprising, especially when you see heavyweights go the distance. You don't expect it to be a good fight like that. Usually it's pretty boring because they get tired, but they kept fucking cracking at each other. And I was actually worried Jared was going to lose from TKO for that cut, because I thought, oh no, they're going to stop. He's bleeding all over the place. It wasn't a bad cut, really, just bled a lot. And it was in a good spot up on the side, so it turned out good for him. It was a great fight, super fun. Looking forward to see that guy fight again, I guess. He's definitely balls to the wall, and he's got skills. Like, he had good hands. It was pretty impressive. Carlos Barza against Yan Xiaonan. This was surprising, and Carla is one of the best fights I've ever seen Carla in. Quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of hers. She's too much of a wrestler without any real fighting. Like, wrestling is not fighting. So it was good to see her really take it to her. It's definitely her best win, bar none. I don't care. You can go back to the Rose days. That was before Rose. I mean, Rose had like 2 fights before that. I mean, she's not the same fighter. And apparently neither is Carla. That was literally her best fight. And clearly, John needs to, much like Edmund, you might want to go find the same coach. Go to a fucking top team or something and learn how to wrestle, because you're terrible on the ground. And I didn't know that about her. I knew she was killing people on her feet, but she's got to do better than that. And so moving on to the main event. Well, before I do that, I do want to say kudos to Carla. Like, I don't like her as a fighter generally, but if she's gonna fight like that, I'm like, Oh, great, do it. She just hasn't, and I don't know if she can against better wrestlers. Can you come back later? Anyways, is it? Can you come back later? Thank you. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, if she's gonna fight like that, I'm all for it. But I'd actually like to see her against somebody who's better on the ground. It might just be the old Carla again, split decisions that me doesn't deserve, what have you. Because she got a few of those. And then the main event, Rob Font against Cody Garbrandt. This was surprising, sort of. I mean, I'm not surprised by Rob Font in this sense. I know he's a super good boxer, but Cody just looked flat, like looked terrible. That's not the guy that beat Dominic Cruz in basically a stand-up boxing match, which in some ways makes me question Dominic Cruz. But there's a very different style, obviously. But I think also. Schaub had a good point on this one. It's like sometimes you're just not in the mood to fight, and maybe that was the case. I don't know. Maybe it's just all the new training with Mark Henry. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, Rob Font looked amazing, and he fought exactly how you'd think he would. I wasn't surprised by what he did, and I wasn't upset by what he did. Just surprised Cody didn't have more to offer. And maybe it just wasn't his night. I don't know. Maybe, people are talking to COVID shit. Like, he didn't have bad COVID, okay? He had problems, and then he got COVID, and it exacerbated the problems of COVID and the problems. And, maybe there's some residuals from that, but beyond that, whatever. I don't put a lot of stock in that kind of nonsense. He definitely had a gas tank, so let's not. He went the distance. So COVID's got nothing to do with that, in my opinion. Okay, I'm not a doctor, but enough. The COVID bullshit. Okay, and that's not to say that COVID is bullshit. It's just clearly that was not what it was. He had gas. He wasn't out of. At first he looked like he was out of breath. But I mean, I guess maybe he got his second win in the third round or whatever. But he definitely was not that tired. He just didn't have. He just wasn't active. And for whatever reason. So, who knows? I don't know if people, he was going to go to flyweight, which he says he can easily do, which surprises me a little, but, it can't be great if he does that. People are saying, no, don't go down there if this is what you're going to do. It's like, do what you want to do, man. Fight. I like to watch him fight. He's a great fighter. I like watching him fight. And he's got some shitty losses on his record, but it is what it is. Hopefully he'll get better. And Rob Font, I hope, goes on to, does he deserve a title fight? Yes, he does. Is he next in line? Not really, but not that he necessarily should or shouldn't be. He has, he's definitely, that's the problem with a bunch of the weight classes, is you got so many guys at the top that are scrambling for the fucking title, which is good. It's a good problem to have, but then you got I'm going to just say it, Aljamain Sterling is, the fact that he took that belt, I wouldn't even have taken it. Like, I don't like any of that shit. I think it's nonsense. But, from a financial aspect, this is where I agree with, Luke Thomas in the sense that if you incentivize people to do things like that, that's what you're going to get. So, I can't blame him for that, I guess. I don't know. That's a tough one. Money versus, to me it's honor. You could say fuck honor when money's involved, but I guess that's kind of the problem with the world, isn't it? We all just fuck honor for money. And I don't know that I'm any better. I honestly don't know. I've never been put in a position where anybody's offered me enough money to sacrifice my honor, I guess. So it's not a, I don't know if it's a good problem to have or not. Anyways, that's all I got for today. I hope Rob Font gets a title shot soon. I think maybe, I don't know what they are, shit, I don't care. Just I want these guys to fight each other. I don't give a shit about who, there's a title on the line. Just let's see them fight. And give him whoever next. I don't care. There's somebody in the top 5, I'm sure is available. Hell, you know what? If Garbrandt gonna hold it up, fight the other guy. What's his face? Peter Yan. Maybe, make a, I don't know. You gotta put it, I guess you gotta put it in the line for these guys to make money, but they probably won't, so I guess that's whatever. Anyways, I guess that's it for me today. Sorry about the interruption there. I tried to get this in before people came home and started bugging me, but whatever. Anyways, I guess like and subscribe. I don't care. Comment. I wouldn't mind comments if you're gonna actually watch this shit. I wouldn't mind comments so I can learn what I'm doing wrong, how I'm shitty, and whatever. Be as mean as you like. I don't give a fuck. I'd like to hear from you. Anyways, thanks and goodbye.